Good day and welcome to my channel. My name is Heinrich Edgecome and today we're going to paint these flowers in a negative painting method. So please like and subscribe and also comment for me. Here's a list of materials that I used and it will also be added to the description list. Here is today's sketch. Let us start. So first of all, we start with the endless silver flowers. Just start with a basic yellow. Now I'm adding a little bit of a darker yellow, just to create a little bit more dimension in it. And then a little bit of a brown at the bottom, just to give it depth. Now I'm just starting with the leaves. I'm doing a base layer of yellow, and I will do with all the leaves, and this will help also to create a wet environment. Now I'm starting with my green. I'm just dabbing it in and it can flow on its own and just create a little bit of its own magic. Okay, now we're going in with that other brownish green color. Also same process, just dabbing it in and let it flow on its own. Just enhancing a few areas, and this creates a lot of interest in your leaves. It's beautiful to see those colors spread and create new variations. Now I'm starting with the stems of the flowers. Also start with a yellow. Then I'm just going to add some colors just to bring in a little bit of light and variation. And this is still part of the initial layer. We will build up things as we go along. You definitely also want some variation and interest in the stems. So let your painting dry. And now I'm just re-wetting the area around the flowers and the leaves. If you can remember from a previous video that I've done, I did daisies and I did add a little bit of color in the petals, but this time we're going full on negative painting So just make sure that you cover the whole area around each flower and each leaf, and make sure that it's wet enough that the paint can spread beautifully on the page. I'm working with bone paper again today, and I must really say it's a really nice paper to work on. It is a time-consuming process to work around each and every piece of your painting, but really satisfying to see. As you can see, I'm adding the blue there, and it spreads beautifully around the flowers. And this is where a brush with a very sharp point works very, very well. But I think you also saw that I didn't wet the whole paper, because we still want that little bit of a vignette feeling to it. So just take your time, work around each element on the page, but you will also see there that I do not paint from edge to edge where the water is. I want it to spread naturally on its own, and it creates a beautiful effect. Still just going in with straight blue. Just adding a little bit more water just to help it spread, and I'm darkening the bottom area as a basis. You'll see I am going to give it more of a 3D effect at the bottom, and it will fade out to the top. I'm really intensifying the pigment in that bottom area. And now you can see if there's certain parts that you missed, and just fill them in. There's really nothing as beautiful as seeing paint spread like this. So let your painting dry. So this is what we've got now. Now we can start with the flowers. So I'm just making a random marks, and then I'm blending out the color and let it spread on its own. And some areas will be darker, some will be lighter. And if you see it's too dark in certain areas, just lift out a little bit of color. And this is basically the process that I'm going to follow with each of the flowers. I'm really working with a fine brush here. And you can see how the flowers are really starting to get definition, but we will enhance certain areas. So help the paint spread, it's just clear water that you use, because we really do not want it dark or too dark. It must just basically give an idea of shadows and give shape to your flowers. There are definitely many other ways that you can preserve a white in your paper, like masking fluid, but with this method the lines are really much softer and you can really blend it into the background. It's amazing to see how little flower is starting to get its own shape and looks very, very different from the other ones, because in nature there's definitely nothing that's 100% consistent. So really take your time, see where you want shadows, where you want to keep the white of the paper, and if it's too harsh in certain areas, just blend it out a little bit. And you will see that I'm also starting to do a little bit of hatching, just to create more interest in those flowers. I am keeping this part of the video slower, but you can see that what I do with each and every flower, so that you can just follow much easier, even though it's basically the same process, just to create a little bit of variation. It's just as good to see how I did it. Here I'm starting with the leaves, adding a few veins, so I want a little bit more detail there, and enhancing some of the darks around the leaves and the stems, just to give him a little bit more of a 3D effect, as I mentioned before. Play around, just create it in your own way. As always, contrast and adding soft and hard edges makes a huge difference in a painting. At the moment you will see that everything is still quite similar in value, but we will emphasize certain areas. And now it's time for your painting to dry again. As you can see, the colors faded quite a bit. So now it's time to emphasize certain areas and enhance the contrast and just add a little bit more shape to the flowers and the leaves. But don't cover up all the lighter areas, because all those lighter areas in between helps to create that interest. And you will see in that front flower I'm really enhancing details, because you need something to lead your eye into the painting. And there I'm also enhancing the stem in the foreground. It's amazing to see what that darkness do and how that leaf really starts to stand out from the background. I'm really playing around and bringing in quite a few darks there, and gives your eye an area to focus on. The detailing part of the painting is really so much fun, but that's also the place where you need to be very careful not to overdo and overwork your painting. A little bit more hatching on that front flower so that it can really grab your attention. And you can see you get a lot more detail in the front area, and the details get less as you move further up the painting. And I'm really intensifying some of the areas around the flower and also just blending it out, because you really do not want hard edges there. I think I really enjoyed this part so much, but be careful not to overdo it and let that colors become a bit lighter to the top. And yeah, also at the bottom, intensifying the colors once again, just to make sure those leaves are standing out properly. So I think that's it. Let's sign. And this is our final painting. So thank you for watching. So please like, subscribe and comment for me. I'll see you next time.